Well, that works out perfect. I've got 6 targets hanging on the shepherd's hooks. I've got a 6-round magazine. I've got the targets hanging at 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35 yards. Not too bad for a little pocket pistol. Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here. Today we're taking a look at the Diamondback DB9. This is a little polymer framed micro 9mm pistol. And as far as I know, this is the smallest, lightest 9mm semi-automatic on the market. I might be wrong on that. If I am, someone please correct me, but as far as I know, this is as small as they've got. This is as far as they've pushed the envelope so far. Super nice little pistol. Got a set of 3-dot sights on it. Most pistols this small don't have very good sights. This has got a set of 3-dot. You can see the 2 white dots in the rear and the orange dot up front there. And these sights are Glock style sights, meaning you can swap these sights out with any sights that are made for a Glock 42 or 43. Kind of a U-notch there in the back. They did add a slide stop. This is the Gen 4, and Diamondback has been improving this pistol over the years. This is the latest model released in 2019. They did add a slide stop. They've changed the texturing of the grip, the stippling if you will. They've got it here on the back and on the front of the grip, which is where it needs to be. I'm never too concerned with what's here in the middle because that's not where the most of your grip is taking place anyway. It's the front and the back that matter. They have upgraded it to being rated for plus P. You can see it right there on the barrel, 9x19 plus P. Now, you guys can shoot all the plus P you want. The standard pressure stuff is snappy enough for me. Not a big fan of plus P ammo anyway, but I know a lot of you guys are, because anytime I do a gun review and it's not rated for plus P, particularly in 9mm, I get a lot of comments saying, well, if it's not rated for plus P, I don't want it. So here you go. This little pistol is rated for plus P. Have at it. Got your front and rear slide serrations. Easy to get a hold of. Let's do a takedown here while we've got it out. Let's just pull a slide back about 1/4 inch or so. Drop your takedown lever. It's right here, and it goes through to both sides. So just grab a hold of it on both sides, pull it down, let the slide go, pull the trigger. Of course, I've already safety checked it here. You never start disassembling a gun that you haven't cleared. Not a whole lot to see here, just kind of what you'd expect on a striker fired pistol. Captured recoil spring. Just a single spring. Barrel. Now, I've only got about 250 rounds through this gun. You can see the wear already starting to wear in. We call that the marrying up of parts. The parts are getting married, starting to work together. .1-inch barrel. I've shot 250 rounds so far of this stuff right here, this Blazer Brass 124 grain, and got it from straight out of the box through 250. I haven't had a single malfunction so far. Today, when I get done showing you the pistol here, we'll take it down and put some hollow points through it. I've got some 124 grain Hydra shot standard pressure. And I've got some 138 grain hollow points here. This is that Syntec Defense stuff. Got that coating on it. We'll see if those run or not. So we'll shoot those up today. We might not shoot all of it. A pistol like this, you know, I've only got 250 rounds through it right now. I don't typically put 1,000 rounds through one of these this small of a pistol before I do a review on it, just because most people aren't going to put that many rounds through it anyway, and they're just not that comfortable to shoot. Make sure you get this spring nice and centered, because if you don't, you'll have trouble putting it back on here. So we're good to go there. Just show you some of the size difference here. This gun is not that much larger than my Ruger LCP. Of course, the LCP is a 380. So if you get much smaller than this, you're going to have to go into a 380. And it's just not that much. If I get both of them in frame here, not that much difference between the little LCP and the Diamondback DB9. A lot of people carry the little LCP or similar 380, not because they're a huge fan of 380, but because they're small enough that they can carry anywhere, anytime. If you can carry a cell phone, you can carry this little pistol. With this pistol, you can just about step up to 9mm and not be much different. I've also got a Car CM9 here. This is the second smallest 9mm that I know of, semi-auto, and it is quite a bit larger in thickness than the little DB9. They're about the same overall length. The Car has a longer slide, but if you include the beaver tail on the DB9, they're almost identical in overall length. But that thickness, it does make a difference when you're trying to conceal carry. It's one of the very important dimensions. Look at that, at the difference. And I'll tell you something else too. When you go to a very small micro 9 like this, the slides can get really hard to rack. The spring pressure gets really hard. This Car is a lot tougher to rack than this DB9. In fact, my wife really struggles racking the Car, and she doesn't have no problem with the DB9, so there's quite a bit of difference there. I don't have a scale that I can pull that with and get an exact weight for you, but there's considerable difference in the racking pressure required to rack that slide. The pressure required to rack the slide, I'm sorry. So quite a bit of difference there. Now in the box, put that magazine, oh, put the 380 magazine in it. Oh, and that orange follower is new too. I don't think that was on the last design, or the last design upgrade. But in the box you also get a trigger lock, and you get a flat base plate. If you prefer to make this even more concealable, you can take this pinky rest off and put the flat base plate on. So that was a pretty thoughtful piece to add in there. It does not come with a second magazine. It only comes with the one magazine. I prefer that all guns that have magazines come with at least two, so that you can practice mag changes. But you know, they do what they do to keep costs down. Speaking of cost, the thing has an MSRP of $269. And just a quick check online, I could find them for around $220 just about anywhere. Some places less. Doesn't take much shopping around to find one, and that's a very good price for what all you get, in my opinion. I'll grab my scale and we'll weigh this thing. Okay, I've got my scale up here now. We'll weigh the little gun. looks like 13.5 ounces with an unloaded magazine, empty chamber, and the pinky extension attached. Just for comparison, while we've got the scale out, let's put the CM9 on there. 16.8 ounces, so several ounces difference between the two. I've carried this car for years. It's been a really reliable little pistol. You'd think when manufacturers push the envelope like this to get these little 9mm this small that they would lose some of the reliability, and maybe they do. But this one has been very reliable, and we'll find out with this one. Like I say, I've only got 250 rounds through it so far. But what do you say we go add to that round count and shoot some of these hollow points? Let's get down to the buffalo range. Alright, I've already taken up enough of your guys' time. I just want to run a few of these hollow points through this gun and see if it'll cycle hollow points. This will be the first time I've shot hollow points through it. I've got a couple of different kinds that I showed you earlier in the video. Got these Federal Syntech Defense. Now these aren't meant to mushroom like a standard hollow point. You can see here in the little picture they've got, it's meant to come apart. The nose section comes apart and causes maximum damage that way, and the base stays together for deep penetration. Here's what they look like. 138 grain. So let's see if it'll cycle those. We'll shoot 12 rounds. I'll shoot 2 magazines, and then we'll try the Federal Hydra shot. Definitely a little snappier. Definitely a little snappier than the target ammo I was using. So I won't make you guys watch me reload the magazine, but I'll go ahead and do that and shoot another mag of it. Alright, so through the magic of video editing, I've got my magazine loaded back up. 138 grain Syntech. Ah, look at this. That gun is hot, but got it pointed down range. My back sight has worked loose. Huh. There's a set screw in that sight, and that's worked loose on me. Well, at least it did it on video. I hate it when stuff like that happens after I do a video. Alright, so not going to guarantee hits here. We're just going to see if it cycles anyway. We're not testing accuracy. Let's see. See if it'll cycle all 6 of these. Sight just about fell off. Really wish I could go ahead and just push it off of there till I got back home. Ah, I did. Alright, so we don't need that to do a cycling test anyway. I'll go ahead and load up with the Federal Hydra shocks. Alright, so this is the Federal Hydra shock, 124 grain hollow points. And we're just going to see how they cycle. Remember, I don't even have a rear sight here, so we're just testing function. I'll put that sight back on and put some Loctite on it when I get home. I'll load up another magazine. Alright, second magazine, Federal Hydra shot. So it does seem to function just fine with that limited testing. I realize 24 rounds of hollow points is not a extensive test by any means, but I was just curious if it would run with them or not. And I think it will. It didn't seem to slow it down any at all. So I'm going to get that sight put back on, and then we'll close this video out. Alright, before we go up and tighten this sight back down, I want to talk about this trigger a little bit. I've actually got a blister on my trigger finger. Right there, right above my thumbnail. You can see that blister. And that's because this trigger when I pull this trigger, it pushes the meat of my finger down between the actual end of the trigger and the upper part of the trigger guard. And those 274 rounds we shot today was enough to rub a blister on my finger. So you can write that off for me being a sissy if you want. I'm fine with that, but I did think it was worth mentioning. Also, check that out. No slide bite. A little bit of redness there, right in there, but no slide bite. The skin's not broken. That last generation of DB9 that I shot, I showed you guys I had a pretty good slide bite when I got done. This one, they either have improved it, either this beaver tail's better or something, or maybe I've changed my grip. One way or the other, I'm not getting the slide bite with the Gen 4 that I got with the previous generation. Now we'll go ahead and do a pull on this trigger. Now I know it's a heavy trigger. Remember, they have this in mind as a pocket pistol, which is the reason you have the recessed magazine release. But we'll go ahead and do a pull. Have to cock it first. £7 pound, 2 ounces. And I've done a couple of pulls off camera there before I did this, and I was coming up with roughly the same thing, 7 pound 2, 7 pound 3 ounces, right in that range. So kind of a heavy trigger, but that's a safety feature for the pocket pistol. And as far as the trigger reset go, I'll show you guys the trigger pull all the way to the back before it breaks. Reset. It's kind of a softer reset, not real audible, but you can definitely feel it. So more of a tactile reset. There you go. All right, I apologize for all this mess. I've got stuff everywhere in here. I've already degreased the threads in the sight and on the set screw. Just need to get it back in here, get it centered up. I'm going to put a little drop of Loctite, or Gun-Tite it's called, thread locker, onto the set screw. And I'm just going to snug that down, make sure I'm centered, snug that down. Now I'm glad that happened on video. A lot of times stuff like that happens to me when I'm out shooting. Of course, I do way more shooting off video than I do on video, but that's the kind of stuff that makes the video real. You know, that's people that edit out the little issues that they have. It ends up looking very much like a commercial, a paid ad for the gun, and that's not what I'm out to do. Certainly that's not the mission of Buffalo's Outdoors. There, I've got that set back in there. I better move that just a touch. I want to show you guys everything that happens, and when I get a little issue like this that pops up, it makes my day. I thought this was going to be just another boring video, and we had this happen to us. Alright, so we're back in operation. Got the sight mounted back on there, got it centered up pretty good, ready to shoot. Now, this seems to me like a pretty good pistol for the money. At that $200, $210, $220 price point, you're getting a 9mm that is almost as small as some of the micro 380s out there. Makes it really convenient, especially if you're one of those guys that don't like a 380, but you need the smallest pistol, lightest pistol that you can possibly carry. You know, this may be an option for you, and it's an inexpensive pistol. Now it has got a few quirks. That mag release being recessed, you have to really get on that mag release to drop your mag. I found that I have to turn the pistol and you have to hit that right on the head to get that magazine to pop out. And the slide stop is also recessed. It's got that ridge around it on the frame. I've never had an issue with it locking the slide back on the last shot. It's done that 100%, but it does make it a little hard to manually lock the slide back because you can't get to the slide release from under it. You almost have to take your thumbnail and push up on that slide release. See, I missed it there. And push up on that slide release to get it to catch. So, not a big deal, but if you do need to lock your pistol back manually, just be aware of it. Other than that, you know, it runs well, seems to shoot pretty accurate for a 3-inch barrel 9mm. Now, I did have some misses there at the end, but after I saw what was going on with the sight, I know what caused that. But anyway, am I telling you it's a M&P? Am I telling you it's a Glock? No, that's not what I'm saying. But it is an option for certain situations, and it's something that, you know, I may start carrying this some in those same instances where I carry my Ruger LCP when I'm out jogging or hiking or biking, getting my daily exercise in. You know, this may be an option over the 380, so I may carry it some. I haven't carried it any yet. I'll have to get me a holster for it. I've got a pocket holster, but not a huge fan of pocket carry. I like a clip-on holster inside my waistband when I'm out moving around. So that's all I got, and I'll talk with you guys again soon.